What's going on, my good, beautiful people? I hope you are all doing well and having a fantastic day. Uh, I've been slacking a little bit last couple of days on these energy reports, so I wanted to jump on here and just do a live and talk to you guys, on here. So thank you guys for jumping on. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys are having a wonderful weekend. This weekend energy is pretty nuts, pretty intense, and um, you know, I've I've been personally going through a lot of a lot of shifting. This Uranus energy that has come forward now that all the planets are moving forward have been very intense and I don't want to say necessarily tumultuous, but unexpected. Right now, we are living in incredibly karmic times, and these karmic times are bringing in karmic patterns to be released, to be let go of, or to be re-experienced, right? So whatever it is that's happening and coming in, a lot of this stuff is having to do with the heart space in this new Aquarian type energy, right? So we literally just passed, let's see here, what is the current energies? We literally have the sun and Saturn 1 degree apart from each other, okay? And so when the sun and Saturn are conjunct, these energies are like resistive. It's like we have to take a look at something. We have to, at least I know for me, my experiences, it brought up an experience that cracked open, I think, this blockage in my heart, and it brought in these processes that made me realize how I get my own way, how I sabotage myself. A lot of like seeing like our own shit right now. That's what Saturn likes to do, is bring up this experience of like, okay, wait a minute, what's going on here, right? But and we have Mars exactly square to Jupiter right now, and Uranus is just about exactly square the Sun, with Black Moon Lilith almost exactly square to Saturn. So this energy is still going forward. It's like we're digging deep into this process. And today's the last day, in fact, that Pluto will be at 24 degrees. Once it gets 25 degrees, we're in a new Pluto degree. And whenever Pluto moves a degree, you can bet that is going to be like that's where like the next chapter feels like it starts, right? That's where like the real deep energies come in. And, we really have to take time to look at ourselves and ask ourselves, like, are we, like, I've met a lot of people, I've noticed, that consistently distract themselves with substances or with busyness or even with love, right? And there's two types of ways people deal with this, myself included. They either go full blown into this distraction mode and take substances, or they stay busy, right? Not necessarily productive, just very busy. And then there's the other type that stays controlled, stays very locked into this control dynamic that is also limiting, but in the opposite way. It's like two different sides of the same coin that are really just we have to find a happy medium. We have to find that like toggle switch, right? It's like, that thing they have in psychologist's office where the little ball that hits all the other balls and brings the other ball, right? We gotta be that middle ball. We gotta be harness the ball energy and not let the energy externally in our external reality environment to sway us one side or the other. When we feel it swaying, right, we have to be in a right mindset where we are in control of our emotions and we are in control of, like in a healthy way, but in control, but open, right? Like open to being able to see what's going on in the outside world and pull ourselves back. All right. And this is what Saturn now is teaching us. And then tomorrow, okay, we have the sun now moving away from Saturn towards Jupiter. So now like we have our spirit that's in between this constriction, and soon it's going to show us this expansion, this new like opportunity. Okay, but we still have these squares going on. And we also have, we have the moon today. Let's see, the moon today is conjuncting the North Node in Gemini, and then it's going to move into Cancer tomorrow. So the moon conjuncting the North Node, and it's going to bring us this emotional drive or desire to really want to figure things out, really want to, like, you know, for me personally, I'm like, all right, I got to get back on this, you know, my sleep cycle, like I really need to get that balanced out, and it's been getting better. I went like early last week, shit was all over the place, right? But that was when Uranus was stationed. That's kind of, you know, par for the course with this energy. Okay, what's up, guys? So with these energies, you know, we have Mercury that's getting ready to go retrograde here at the end of next week as well, and I'm going to talk about that much more in the weekly energy report. So with that, you know, it's almost like we're switching and flipping, which is pretty normal. But we've had this small window, right, to move forward now. So how are you moving forward? Is the moving forward bring you into more chaos? Which Uranus can definitely do that. All right, that can most definitely happen. Or are you moving through it and, you know, with the sort of like chaotic push and pull kind of energy, are you allowing yourself to slow down in the middle of it? All right. And be aware, not be taken away by it. Pull yourself back into your mind and your consciousness and be aware of moving through this energy. So I'll give you a personal example because this is the best way that I know how to really process it. So yesterday, I went and I had, you know, what me and Steve Gardner, which maybe we'll talk about this more in our next podcast on Monday night at 7 p.m. Pacific. Don't forget to check it out. That's going to be more about nutrition, microscopy, gut microbiome. I'm actually going to pull up my blood on the live, and I'm going to show you guys exactly what it's all about when we do, and then explain the DNA-based nutrition that I worked with, and also Viome, which is getting your, you know, gut test done in order to be able to optimize nutrition. That is most definitely the gold standard in this new you know, nutrition and body and mind optimization. But I had this experience come in, you know, with my heart, right, with my twin flame, with my ex, and we had this amazing experience, right? But it really brought to light. I came to realize, like, okay, you know, so you're not always meant to be with your twin flame. That's why the whole runner chaser dynamic is what it is. And, you know, it's both partners have to agree to the mission. And if both partners don't agree to it, and there's nothing right or wrong about it, because you have to both be willing to fully go into your heart, right? And fully going in your heart, not an easy thing to do. So we had a great day, but came to realize that we have different priorities, right? And because of those different priorities, I realized, you know what, I appreciate you so much. And I finally have come to understand and realize that you and I are just not meant to be together. We're never going to be together. And finally, I'm okay with that. It's about being okay with that, dropping the energy from the past, moving forward in love and gratitude. And that releasing that energy makes space and room for the new energy to come in. That is also, Saturn is all about karma. It's about time and space, right? For me, Saturn's my ruling planet, so I always feel that shit pretty intensely and pretty heavy. And of course, this Saturn-Uranus square is going to be going on all year. So not to mention, too, that this weekend, we basically have Neptune exactly squaring the node. So this energy has been building, of course, right? Now it's exact. Now it's going to be super confusing. You may come into a situation where like you don't really understand what's supposed to teach you. Like it's going to be mixed with a lot of cloudy energy, a lot of, like, you know, it almost reminds me of that movie with Bruce Lee when he was facing his demon, right, in this hall of mirrors. And that was passed down from his generation, right? His father didn't know how to face it, and then he had to face it. And ultimately, I believe that was his demise. But he had reached a place in his life where he finished, you know, his influence to the world. So his soul was done with the soul work. And I know I know for me as well, and many empaths out there, right? Many empaths are experiencing this kind of energy right now where their empathic nature is being tested because we're being required to rise up in responsibility. Okay, so if you're taking on energy that is not yours, if you're taking on experiences and things like that that are, influencing you in a negative way, it's time to face it. It's time to feel it. So the whole Bruce Lee thing, right? Like, he was a master of himself. Like I personally feel like on the level of like Buddha, like the modern day Buddha or Jesus. And but he had this ancestral karmic situation, this demon, is whatever you want to call it. And no matter what he did, it seemed like that was, always beat him, which essentially I believe is really our shadow, right? We carry down things in our DNA ancestrally in order to move through, to work through. And I feel like through the generations, that's what we're supposed to do, right? Live, laugh, love, grow together. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So, and I also believe too that, we have many soulmates. We only have one twin flame. I don't know. There's so many different ideas out there. I'm just going from my own personal experience. And sometimes we're meant to be the a soulmate, to live with, to work with, to be with. But we have to be, either way, we have to be sure about who we are and about what our boundaries, what it is that we want. We have to be clear about what we want. And so if there's anything that you're unclear about right now about what you want, that is coming into focus, and that is coming into an understanding, so that we can set that down, create that vision board, or do that journal and create that energy to where manifest it. But I've also seen myself too, I'm a pretty successful dude for what I've done for my branding and whatnot, but I always find that I want more, that I need to make more money, or be, in better shape, or, be stronger, or be funnier, or be more whatever, be more of all these things in order to be able to have more. And the fact is that when we have that intense desire, we're in the place where we feel like we don't have it. My boy, Aaron Doughty, talks about this all the time. Okay. So for me, that's been a very difficult, part of my energetic journey, is learning how to let go of that desire, because essentially desire is also what drives me, right? That desire is also what pushes me to get up every day to make shit happen. A desire to be a great father, a desire to make more money, to help more people, right? But it's almost like this desire, for example, to be, the best father I can be, has almost pushed me away from being able to even see my daughter. So surrendering to this energy, there's a resistance that comes with that energy. And Saturn conjunct the sun square over to, Uranus and Mars is saying, hey, you need to rise above this. And in order to be able to manifest and receive it, because this new Aquarian age energy is about being the magnet and allowing the electromagnetism to pull it towards you. So going out after it, you're not magnetizing it. You're actually magnetizing resistance. And everybody does this in their own way, right? Everybody has their own process of navigating. This is the dark night of the soul, essentially. This is a part of where we don't really know where to go. And it's about learning to trust our heart at a deeper level. And there's always more levels, guys. Always more levels. I'll tell you what, I spent 4 years digging, looking for that level or that answer or that place where I was like, I get it. Yes. All right. I made it. And you know what? It just keeps going. I've gone to so many different dimensions. I've had hundreds of ego deaths. I've even had maybe a couple near-death experiences. I've gone so deep. And it just keeps going. There's just an infinite amount of wisdom and energy out there. So be careful about chasing that dragon, so to speak. Okay, be careful about having too much desire. We have to temper the desire with the knowing that it's coming, with the knowing that we're going to be okay, right? So temper that desire and embody the emotion of what success means for you, right? Do I know what my Myers-Briggs personality type is? Yes, I'm an INFJ, of course. I'm just a fucking unicorn, guys. I'm an anomaly, right? I am the if everybody's doing it and everybody likes it and everybody is into it, I'm like, nope, not for me. Like when I did bodybuilding, it was before bodybuilding was even really big. It was before even Men's Physique came out, right? When I started, working with plant medicines, nobody knew what the fuck that was, right? And now it's like a trend. Now it's like everybody's doing it or everybody's into it, but nobody knows what they're really getting into, right? Love you fuckers too. All right, so, but I can definitely say something interesting. There's going to be a lot of unexpected twists and turns of events here in the next week coming up. And I'm going to talk a lot more about that during the weekly energy report. But I want to remind you guys too, if you're on Instagram, check out my YouTube for the background of my video and see if you can guess the vibration of it. All right. I have such a desire to be different. I think a lot of us do. And now having a desire to be different, is that really being different? Is that a desire to stick out? Like we have to analyze this. Now we don't want to get into analysis paralysis, but let's take that, Don, for an example. All right, having such a desire to be different. Why do you want to be different? Where's that desire coming from? Is it desire to be successful? Is it desire to have fame? Is it a desire just to be different, just to be different? Why is that happening though? Is it because of the way you're treated when you were a child, or is it because you just like love the response or reaction that you get from other people? Okay, we have to look at these things and see, is it seeking validation? All right, is it coming from a place of fear? Is it coming from a place of lack? Like, did our parents not make a lot of money, or did our parents always want to try to fit in? And we saw them doing that. We were like, fuck that, I'm never going to try to fit in, right? This is about fitting in with yourself, aligning the mind to the heart, and that is it, okay? So I'm definitely taking a look at what is really important to me. Like as much as I want to have a partner that is going to want to build an empire with me and be my ride or die. I mean, like I've connected with a couple really incredible women over the last month and a half, 2 months. And there's always seemed some kind of blockage, right? But that's a representation of having a blockage within myself. And like self-worth issues coming up, things about, like a lot of ancestral abandonment and rejection issues are being brought to the surface. And of course, we've also shifted on many levels from going to this controlling, like structural, breaking down the structure and opening things up, and into this new, like, just be free, and all this really intense Aquarian energy of this new healthy detachment, creating community, being part of, all that is, and almost had this like philanthropic kind of energy. I believe that success in our culture is being redefined because of the state of the world that it's in. And I think that we have to accept and acknowledge that and go forward with it, right? I want what the system doesn't glorify, community and less money-based. And I believe that is what's coming. I believe that is what's changing. However, those systems are still in place. And it's almost like we still have to do our part to play the game, but it's like we have to master the game in order to shift it and change it. Because really from the highest level to the lowest level, a lot of people are desiring this, but not a lot of people know how to change it, know how to shift it, right? And this is why community is so important. This is why people, like-minded people like us, have to get together and have to go into this stuff one step, one feeling, one experience at a time, and open it up to new possibilities. And that's what we're doing. So, if you guys are interested in, becoming part of my beautiful community, please check out the Opportunity Community on my website, spiritualbodybuilder.com. And my Opportunity Community people are going to get discount rates for all my services and everything that we're doing. And if you guys want to check out Uforia, I'm going to be talking a lot more about that, just because I'm getting really, really passionate about it, because I've just been experiencing so many more benefits from the whole process. And it's also like this new business style is it's the future, guys. Community building and sharing our gifts while making money is where it's at. That is the Aquarian age way of building wealth and success right now, where we can connect with people where we rely on each other. We can trust each other. Trust is huge, right? We have not been able to trust the powers that be for a long time, and now everybody can fucking see it, right? So we can no longer rely on systems that are designed to destroy us. It's just not possible. In order for us to be able to go beyond that, we have to step up. We have to take responsibility for our own shit. All right. And don't forget, guys, we have Venus now in the third decan of Capricorn coming into its conjunction with Pluto. And that is going to be so deep, so intense. I'm always a big, I love this energy because this energy is incredibly, it gets way deep into the heart space and it just pulls it out, right? It just really makes us see and understand things in a whole different way. We're going to be really recognizing that, wow, okay, like I've been holding myself back for this, and now I'm realizing that this ain't what I want. This ain't for me. Like I can do more. We're going to be coming into this like understanding that we either need to be more, want to be more, or are really better than what we've been. So believe in yourself. This is all about really facing the feelings that are keeping us from fully believing in our heart and aligning our mind to our heart, right? A lot of times we get caught up in our head, right? Analysis paralysis. What are we going to do? We're going to go. When we get in that place, we need to take a step back and do, like, I have a lot of friends that are getting into breath work, right? Going deep with breath work, going deep with meditation, even exercise is like flow state, right? We want to find that new place of flow state. And that is going to require some creation, some creative energy, because what worked for us before is not necessarily going to work for us now. For example, like, I'm starting a new exercise regimen, right? I'm calling it the Lazarus Project because I feel like I'm becoming reborn in my and how I am as an athlete, right? I'm 42 years old now, so it's going to be different. I got to pay more attention to my nutrition and my sleep, especially. So with that, and I'm going back, like I've been an athlete my whole life, right? For my teens and 20s. It was more like, you know, I was in the military. So I did more like HIIT kind of training and a lot of cardio. And then when I was, 30s, I was, a competitive bodybuilder. So I'm sort of merging and bringing all the principles that I've learned in my entire life. And that is what I think is the message for a lot of us out here right now is look back at your entire life, your entire adult life, or the entire life that you can remember, right? And look back and look at the patterns that you've gone through. And when you start to look at the patterns of whether it's fitness or relationships or business and jobs, okay, you're going to start to see a pattern. And whatever triggers are coming up to take a look at these certain patterns, these certain processes in your life, they are going to really help you realize and see, oh shit, I'm falling back into that pattern, right? Healing is definitely way slower in 40s. That's why I'm actually I'm assessing my results through microscopy, which I'm going to again show you guys Monday night on the live with Steve Gardner. But also I do a lot more biohacking stuff. I get PRP done. I'm working on getting the exosome treatment. I had stem cells done on my shoulder, like rejuvenation techniques, oxygen hyperbaric chambers. I used nebulized glutathione, in between sets when I do HIIT style training. I consume, collagen protein and, more vegan type protein. Whey protein is just fucking terrible for you. And I'll get into all that, later on when we get deeper into that, but intermittent fasting too, different ways of fasting. Dave Asprey just came up with with amazing new book. I think it's called Fasting is the Way or something like that. And I'm listening to that audiobook now. Check it out. CBD helps with recovery inflammation. Absolutely. Shock treatment therapy. All right. Like different kinds of body work, different kinds of sound lounge therapy, like vibroacoustics is absolutely incredible. Right. So fitness is taking on a whole new dynamic for me. And of course, I'm going to be showing you guys all the way as I go through my journey. What do I know about increasing HGH without actually taking it? Well, I mean, there are different ways, different nutritional techniques that you can use. You can take like high doses of glutamine at night, can help. Really, it's all about your sleep cycle. You have to make sure that you're really getting into theta and delta waves. But I wouldn't say there's really a whole lot of supplements that can naturally increase HGH. A lot of it's going to be dependent on what's going on in your body and your mind. But you know, like doing heavy compound movements, if your body can do that, is also a good way to naturally increase not only growth hormone but testosterone. But when you get into hormones, you have to go into all the other hormonal imbalances going on in the body. The older we get, the more profound or the more pronounced those things get, because you know, like our processes slow down, and we want to keep our processes as young and jubilant as possible, right? So in order to do that, you know, again, Uforia is probably the single most fundamental thing that I would recommend for anybody to keep the inner plumbing working as most efficiently as possible. It even has some ingredients that help to lengthen telomeres, but also NADIV infusions, right? You know, ozone therapy, things like that. So, you know, we have to find what works, and in order to do that, we have to experiment. We have to, you know, possibly spend money. We have to get up and get moving. We don't want to, because at the same time, too, remember, our consciousness right now, especially as we elevate, we're processing stress differently, right? And because we're processing stress, it's having a different effect. Our DNA is activating, guys, as we raise our vibration. That's why, you know, probably you can't eat stuff that you used to eat. In fact, the other night, I was sitting down to eat dinner, and I got this this slow roasted dark turkey from Sprouts. Delicious. I love it, right? Now, I played around with, you know, being vegan a little bit. I was a good solid 6 months. I was vegan, but I found that I started, like, after about 3 months, I started feeling weak. Like I started, like, you know, like deflating. I started kind of like my brain wasn't working very well. It's because, you know, I got some tests done, and I found out, you know, my iron and my B12 and many other trace minerals were very low. Okay. But then I go and I eat this turkey. Now I had this like piece of like skin with a little bit of fat on it and a little bit of like shredded meat, right? And I went to eat it, and it just sort of slid down my throat. It was a really big piece, right? So I didn't even get a chance to chew it. And when it slid down my throat, it got fucking stuck there. Now I was at my house by myself, and normally I just, you know, slap it around, you know, push it down, but this shit got really stuck, and I started having a hard time breathing. And then my eyes started watering, and then I started to lose consciousness a little bit. And I was like, oh fuck, I'm home alone. I might choke and die. So I actually end up basically giving myself a Heimlich maneuver. How do you do that, do you ask? Well, I was standing over my sink, and I was just, you know, trying to make myself puke it up, but it wouldn't move. So I sort of felt like I was going to keel over, and I just basically fell on the edge of the counter. and I took a deep breath in, and I breathed out, and I hit my chest on the counter, and it came out. Thank God. That scared the shit out of me a little bit. I got a little bit of like butthole, you know, pucker going on right there. But, you know, it taught me something. So I'm a big believer in collagen protein. All right, collagen protein is very rejuvenative for the gut. And I didn't intentionally mean to. Yeah, right, Whitney. Collagen protein is excellent for the gut. Okay, and gut health is so important right now with all the things that are attacking our gut. We have to do our due diligence to make sure that our gut health is proper, because that's imbalanced. Everything else is out of whack, right? And this is where we have to watch when we get attracted or we get pulled from these external things in our environment or our reality. This is where our gut gets pulled. Like, if you ever notice, like one night, like you stay out late, or maybe you like, smoke some weed or do some drugs or drink too much, and then suddenly you go home and you just want to eat junk food, right? Then you eat junk food right before bed. Then you wake up, you kind of feel gross, and and you're a little bit slower that day. Well, what happens if that's a habit? If you're doing that constantly, right? Suddenly people want to go out, you meet some new people, and you're having fun, you're dancing, you're partying, you're excited. But now you're coming home and you're abusing your body, and then you start to crave junk food. I just made a post yesterday about things that if you're craving, it means those are the minerals and the micronutrients that your body is missing. So recommend, take a screenshot of that picture. And if you're starting to crave something, try taking that micronutrient instead and see if that craving goes away. Those are the kind of things, those are little biohacks that we need to do, we need to get into, all right? But it's so important. The body is a subconscious mind, guys, right? And we have to honor it and not give in to these emotional impulses, no matter what's going on. And that is the real work. Okay. What are my thoughts on coffee? I mean, I drink coffee every now and then. So, you have to make sure that you get coffee that is filtered, from a lot of the molds and toxins. And if you go places like Starbucks or Coffee Bean and things like that, they don't necessarily, they buy the cheap shit, right? I've also been big on coffee enemas for a while. I've heard research that, it's not good for you. For me, it seems to work pretty good. So, with that kind of stuff, with all these kind of things, right, there's pros and cons to everything. So what we have to do is just really see what the pro and con is with what we feel, or like the benefit to risk or cost ratio, and then see if it fits. Try it out. The only way you're really going to know is if you experience with it, if you experiment. And that's also an Aquarian energy, experimenting with new things and reading how it feels with you, not what everybody else thinks, not what everybody else's research is. Like, no more Yelp reviews. Like, if you want to go somewhere new, right? You go to this place, or you call them and you have a conversation with the secretary, right? See how you vibe with them. And if you vibe with them, then okay, go there, try it out, right? This is where, this is a new way of checking things, because look, people can fake, Yelp reviews. People can fake, a lot of stuff that marketing and advertising. I mean, it's all psyops. It's all, it's all manipulation, honestly, guys. Okay. So this is where we have to trust our heart and then connect that with trusting our mind and letting it be that way. And these are all things, okay, that everybody is dealing with on top of taking care of your children and working and making money and life and blah, blah, blah. Okay. So if things feel like they're falling apart right now, they're falling apart to come together in a new way. Remember that. All right. This is the culmination of the 2020 energy. We really have just started 2021, energetically speaking. Okay. Now, technically, the astrological year doesn't start until April. So in a way, we're still in endings until Aries season. And then that's when shit really starts to kick off. Right. So, distilled water too. A lot of people think distilled water is super healthy. That's not true. Okay. Especially if you drink a lot of it. Distilled water sucks electrolytes out of your body. See what I'm saying? Like you like alkaline water is excellent. And look, I don't want to take too much time on the nutrition stuff, but it feels like you guys are feeling this shit. So I'm going to start talking about this more consistently, more often. All right. But I want to remind you guys, if you'd like to get a reading from me, or if you would like to join the Amazing Opportunity community, a lot of beautiful things happening there. Go to my website, spiritualbodybuilder.com, and you can also download my free ebook, which goes into all this body stuff, right? Decrypting the language of the human body and really understanding what it's trying to teach us. So, this weekend, we're again sort of in this, we're still in this square, we're still in this breaking apart, this energy. But I'm really, really excited, Dr. Lai, I'm really excited for the Sun conjunct Jupiter. And Mars is going to be squaring that. But, still, this is a beautiful, beautiful energy. And it's coming up into the full moon in Leo on the 28th. So, Cole, Jackie, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate you guys. Yeah. Really, at the very core level, our body requires, I think it's 109 trace minerals to function. Dr. Sebi talks about this a lot. And when we get on these, I'd say fad diets, but these diets that take out certain foods, just generally speaking, typically they do not fulfill the requirements of our custom body's needs for micronutrients and macronutrients. So that's why DNA nutrition is so important. It fortifies and fulfills all the micronutrient needs that our body has. And we get the micronutrients, then all the enzymatic processes can function optimally. All right. Yeah, clean water is everything. You need to have clean water. Okay. But we need those trace minerals in our body to function. And as we get older and things compound and our gut gets out of whack, we start to lose those micronutrients. When that happens, the body has to steal them from other places. When that happens, it causes compensation. So where are you compensating in your body? Where are you compensating in your mind? Where are you compensating in your heart? Where are you compensating in your life? We all are doing it to some degree, somewhere, somehow. And this is about being brutally honest with yourself and stepping into the truth about where you're at and taking those little one step at a time and honoring, like, hey, I need to balance this out. Where do I start, right? Normally, what I'm coming to see is I need to pull myself back from my external world. Okay, I still talk to you guys, but I have to pull myself back to bring my energy back, right? Because I'm a networker, I'm a connector, I'm a glue that brings people together, and we all stick, we create community. But doing that, I'm sending my energy out to a lot of people, right? And some people get attached, some things, some people don't like it, some people like it too much, and and then I start to get pulled in these different directions. So I have to pull myself back and be like, okay, hold on a minute, let me get regrounded, let me get set, so that I can have my mind and my heart clear. Because when things start moving too fast, because energy is very, very fast, guys. When things start moving too fast, you can start to get lost in it. Okay, so we got to slow it down, we got to center, we got to breathe, we got to meditate, we got to clear, we got to honor ourselves. And on that note, this is your current energy report. Just kind of all came out and flowed. I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. And I love you all very much, and take it easy. All right, have a wonderful, wonderful day. Let's see here. All right.